Hey, this is Wes Bailey, and I am here today to talk to you about, kind of in a long form way, how divorces are actually filed and processed in Louisiana. So if you see me looking up, I'm looking up at the time, but I'm gonna really get into the particulars of what you need in a divorce. In any divorce, you really have to have jurisdiction, okay? So you have to have the right to get a divorce in the location that you're at. This happens a lot when dealing with people in central Louisiana, because there's a lot of people that move for jobs. There's a lot of people that move for the military, and you may not have jurisdiction in Louisiana or in that parish or in that jurisdiction that you're in to get a divorce immediately. So you may still be under the jurisdiction of another court. Second, you definitely need to have either started living apart or have been living apart. If you've started living apart, okay, that's a big deal. You started living apart, your time starts when you start living apart. But in Louisiana, you have to have 6 months if you have no children, or a year if you have children. And if you have a covenant marriage, which is a very particular type of divorce, you have to have 2 years separated. So there are different ways to get different divorces. It all starts with that separation date, and then it gets very, very technical thereafter. If you've seen some of my videos, we talk about immediate divorces. We talk about divorces where the time has already ran. And then there's another form where time has not already ran. You've started living apart, but it's a whole nother thing that you need to talk to an attorney about to kind of facilitate that. Secondly, you definitely want to be living separate and apart. So that doesn't mean that you can live in the same house, under the same roof, in the same building. You need to be in separate houses or separate roofs as kind of the kicker, okay? You want to be in, if you can't be in another property, if you have a large enough property, I guess you could put a trailer on another piece of that land. Some people in Louisiana have hundreds of acres, but the idea is that you're separate and apart. And living under the same roof really just doesn't kind of technically get you there. So watch out for that. If you have kids in a divorce, you're going to be waiting a year. You're going to have issues in there, but you're also going to need to deal with who's going to keep those kids, who wants those kids, who's going to be the domiciliary parent. And if you have other issues, look at those past videos that we have, because there's going to be some particulars you need to go through on that. When we do a divorce at our office, we always write a petition. That petition draws out your allegations, the facts as they pertain to you. Your other spouse may not always agree with them, but these are your facts, your allegations that you have. If you're doing a very simple divorce, those allegations are not very expanded. They're not very amplified. They're just really simple and enough to get you a divorce. Now, one thing people always ask about is time. How fast is this going to happen? How fast does it happen in court? Things of that nature. When we draft a petition for someone, we have to sign off on it, and also the client has to sign an affidavit that says, hey, these allegations and these things are true. That then gets filed with the clerk of court, and it has to be served on the next party. So whoever your ex-spouse is and the defendant is and things of that nature. And this goes for any kind of court filing. It must be served on the other person. So how does that service happen? Well, it can happen by personal service. A person can be served personally. They can sign an affidavit waiving service, where they come in and they come to the clerk's office or they come to the lawyer's office and they sign an affidavit that says, hey, I'm good. This is cool. No problem. Or if they're absent and you don't know where they're at, they haven't been seen for years, maybe haven't seen for months, and you only have their last known address, you only have their last known particulars, and you know they're not coming around. You know that they're not going to be here, but you give the court everything they have, that you have, numbers, emails, last known addresses, Facebook IDs, Instagram IDs, things of that nature. There's so many ways that people stay kind of away, but they still maintain a presence. That's what the court wants. And those are called matters where you need a curator. And you've probably seen them or heard about them, and it's someone else that your friends and your family probably have dealt with in their lives. It's a curator's hired to try to find those people and give them notice. They're not hired like a detective is hired. They're hired in a way that's attempting to get notice out to that person. And that notice and that attempt comes from information that you give to the attorney. Like I said, telephone numbers, cell numbers, last known addresses, dad's numbers, dad's last addresses. You can get really, really big on this. You can get emails, you can get Facebook. I know everybody's using TikTok, and Instagram. So things of that nature really, really help to get service out. With those kind of bare bones things, you can get a divorce filed in the clerk's office, and then thereafter, those things, the service dictates how long and how much goes on. So when I file and someone else, has a divorce in the books and they're ready to go, they go, oh, okay, well, when is it going to stop? When am I stop being married to this person? Well, the courts themselves also have a timeline themselves. So you may file in court. The court itself has times whenever they see criminal matters or they see civil matters. A divorce is a civil matter. So there's a court calendar as well. So the courts have their own calendars, and attorneys, for as much as they want to try to get in, they can't always get in perfectly, but they're going to work to try to get into that time where the judge has an open date. And that's true for all courts. And it's not just all courts are the same cookie cutter. Some courts have multiple judges. Some have specific judges. Some have judges that are in or something's wrong. Just like the real world, judges are people. They have family issues. They have vacations. They have times that are set where they're not in court. So it's not always perfect. I mean, we're getting into the holidays right now with this video. Christmas is coming. So, of course, the court itself is shut down. The clerk's office is shut down, and people don't get a really good chance to get in there. So it's not going to be as fast. And that's okay. That's not against the person or anyone, really. It's just because that's just how the calendars go. So I hope this kind of helps to give information about how the process of a divorce goes, not the substance therein. And look to the other videos that we have on here to talk about substance and things of that nature. We hope to help, and have a great day.